So today I want to talk about the business case for accessibility as part of Disability History Month. Tomorrow I'm going to start a 2-week course where I learn about how to make a website more accessible. As part of that, I'll be doing a small audit of our site to work out what improvements we can make. So when I was organising this course, there was a lot of uncertainty around, well, what would happen with my findings? Would they end up in tech debt? Would they get picked up by Team CX? Who would prioritise them? Would only the parts that were actually stopping a user from using our service be picked up? Or would we be able to pick up changes that just made our website generally better? So today I want to address why improving accessibility isn't just a morally good thing, but also makes a lot of business sense. I think that this is really important because we are a business at the end of the day. So when we come to prioritising accessibility related changes, they need to be able to hold their own amongst all the other metric driven improvements we want to build. You might have heard this before. Improving accessibility improves your product for everyone. So when you want to assess the impact of a change you want to make, you need to have a rough idea of the number of users or potential users that it might affect. And when you think about accessibility improvements, chances are you're thinking about making pages easier to read for screen readers and including alt text and captions. And when you think about who these changes will benefit, you're probably thinking about someone with a disability, someone who has a more long-term problem with how they might want to interact with our product. And you're not wrong. A lot of people that will benefit the most from these sorts of changes are these users. But actually, the number of people who can be positively impacted are much, much higher, because accessibility is just about making a product usable by as many people as possible, regardless of their situation. So actually, I was at a conference today, and the lady there said, one way of thinking about it is that if you fix a problem for somebody at like a very severe end of the spectrum, so someone with like significant sight impairment, then chances are you're also going to benefit everybody else along this very long spectrum that maybe have their sight impaired by something really temporary. So I'm going to give you a few everyday examples that shows how the improvements we've already made can help people, and hopefully you can identify with some of them. So imagine you're on a train and you want to watch one of our explanation videos, but you forgot to bring your headphones, so you need to watch them on mute. We've all been there, and good job we added captions to all our videos, because a video on mute without captions is just scroll straight past that. Okay, imagine you're outside on a sunny day, and I'm sure we all look like this lady in the picture in that situation. She looks very happy. And you want to read an email that we've sent you, but the glare means you can't see the screen very well. Well, it's a good job we've increased the color contrast on our emails to make them easier to read. These are things that would also help somebody with an extreme vision impairment, but you can see different ends of the spectrum. And final one, imagine you've broken your arm, and so you're having to use a different hand to normal, and you want to interact with, say, the retirement planner. Well, it's a good job we let people type into a box overhead rather than fiddle around with the slider. If you look at these situations, you can already see a good case building for a lot of our customers being more satisfied with our product if we add in more accessibility features. So, our customers with a disability. We've talked about people in general. Now let's talk about the people who will probably be impacted the most. A big problem at the moment is that data around people who identify as having a disability just isn't great. And we definitely don't ask people to disclose that sort of personal information. So in order to come up with some meaningful figures, I've done some extrapolation from national disability statistics and applied them to our customer base. So basically, from a family resources survey published in 2021, 19% of working age adults identify as having a disability, and 46% of state pension age adults. So if we use data I pulled from the 14th of October for our customers' ages, we have in theory 43,596 customers out of 225,087 that may have a disability, and that's almost 20% of our customer base. And also don't forget, this number is only going to increase as our customer base gets older. So another reason that it's good to improve our accessibility is it would increase our customer base and make us stand out from our competitors. So I think it's really important at this point to take a step back, because often when people talk about making accessibility improvements, the narrative ends up as a company helping people with disabilities. And actually, we're very much helping ourselves as well. So in 2012 and 2013, it was estimated that households with a disabled person have a combined income of £212 billion after housing costs. And some of that money is going to go into pension pots, right? It was estimated that in 2016 in the UK, inaccessible websites and apps account for around £11.75 billion in lost revenue. And on top of that, none of our competitors are branding themselves as good pension providers for people with accessibility needs. People with accessibility needs have spending power, and we can't afford to miss out on it. Not to mention that we know people are drawn to our company by our strong ethics. I mean, look at the popularity and interest in our fossil fuel-free plan. So publicising our stance on accessibility, as well as other measures we're trying to take, like becoming a disability confident employer, should help increase our general customer base and strengthen our brand. In fact, in a survey, thank you Priya, that we took yesterday of 250 non-customers aged 40 to 50, which is a really key age group for us, 67.6% believed that all service providers should be legally required to make their services accessible. A further 18% on top of that believe that regardless of the law, private companies can make more money by improving accessibility. We've got 85.3% said that companies that make an effort to be more accessible, more attractive to them, and 73.5% said it would make the company seem more trustworthy. It also ties in with our desire to make people pension confident. As I mentioned before, people of state pension age are more than twice as likely as other working adults to have a disability. This means that as our customer base gets older, it's likely they will need a little more support. By committing to be a highly accessible product, we can advertise ourselves as a pension product customers can be confident can support them throughout their lives. This fits in with the long-term thinking we're encouraging our customers to do around their pensions and helps make it clear that as a company, we aren't going anywhere. We can also advertise that we are confident that even those with little tech experience can use our product. Okay, so we talked about who we can impact, how it might impact them. Now it's time to talk about how much effort would be required. I mean, it's good news because the groundwork is already there. We run a digital service, which means customers aren't dealing with lots of paperwork, which can be very challenging to people with visual impairments. We try and limit jargon and keep our product easy to understand. We provide one-on-one customer support via phone calls, messaging service, and video calls, which is great because it means pretty much everyone has a way of communicating with us easily. And even though I do say so myself, we also have a really good technical ability within the company to make the changes. And very soon we'll have some of the knowledge we need to know what those changes should be. So, in conclusion, improving accessibility and shouting about it will help increase our customer base, make our existing customer base happier, and make us stand out from competitors. So when we get round to coming up with a list of accessibility fixes and changes, let's give them the priority they deserve. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.